I knew it looked bad. I did, okay? I knew it looked bad. What is going on, my party people, okay? How has everybody been doing? How has everybody been? Where's everybody going? I have been all over the place, like seriously, just completely and utterly all over the place. So please excuse my absence. Like I said, I've just been all over the place, guys. My life is about to change in like a month, okay? So I am moving, I am grooving, I'm getting married, and all these things are happening. So please bear with me as I transition into womanhood. That's honestly how I feel. My God, I feel like I'm just like a completely different person, and I'm gonna be even more a different person in the coming year and the next year. It's just like life is just coming at me fast, and I'm just trying to like keep up. I'm trying to bask in the moment. I'm also trying to be responsible, but also I'm trying to be like, you know what, take everything day by day. I've just been all over the place. So today I had the free time to get myself together. I did my hair. Yes, we went orange. I wanted it to come out like more of a deeper orange. This is giving me Paramore orange. Kind of like it. Still wish it was darker, but needless to say, it's here and I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the vibes. I like it. Anywho, I wanted to sit down and finally record a story time. I asked y'all the other day on the community tab, what do y'all want to see? And of course, all y'all were talking about story times. And so here I am ready to do that. And I've been wanting to do these story times, but I feel like they just weren't long enough. Like they weren't long enough stories to give you like a whole video. I think they'd be like maybe 10 minutes long. So I thought I would just go ahead and give you these two story times that were really honestly like embarrassing in the moment, but now that I look back on it, I'm like, why did I do that? And y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like embarrassing times where like looking back on it, it's like, why was that my go-to? Why did I think that was okay or like acceptable to do? So that's exactly what these story times are going to be for you today. So we are going to go back to the first story time that happened in cosmetology school. I know this lady's name. I remember exactly what she looked like and everything because this was so freaking embarrassing. Okay, so boom. Let's go back to cosmetology school days. This was when we first started taking clients. Like this was because in cosmetology school, it was like models. We had model days, but majority was in the actual classroom working on mannequins. And so this was when we got into the next phase where we were actually taking clients. It was like one client a week kind of thing. But this was when they were like trying to introduce us into like, how do you introduce yourself? How do you do the consultation? Things like that. So this was one of my very first clients. I don't think it was the first one, but it was one of my very first ones. So if you've been to cosmetology school or any kind of trade school, you kind of are going to understand what I'm saying. So when you're first starting out, they want you to do everything by the book. Like exactly like this is the consultation. After the consultation, you're going to do this. And then you're going to do the blow dry, but you need to section it like this. And you need to do it like this, like this, like this. It had to be like very, very specific and very by the book. And me, I think that is the Virgo in me. I do everything how I'm instructed, and I will not go outside of that. Like, you told me I had to do it like this. This is how we're going to do it. Boom, bang, pow. So, how this relates to the hairstyles. So, in cosmetology school, we were only allowed to do 3 different kind of things. It was a blow dry where it was just like regular, it was like smooth and straight, I think it was called. Aveda was another thing too. Like, Aveda was so, like, especially the school that I went to, like, the instructors were such sticklers. You really didn't have free reign. So you had to do the smooth and straight, I think it's called. And then it was a soft set blow dry and a hard set blow dry. So those were the only 3 options that we had, especially in this specific phase. Like, we couldn't do anything other than that. I get a client and she comes in, and off rip, she was very uppity. Like, to this day, I will never, ever understand how you voluntarily go to a school for discounted prices. That's the only reason you're going. Like, let's be serious. It's for the discounted prices. And yet you have the nerve to try to be stuck up or try to act like you're so bougie. I will never understand it. So we are going to call this woman, let's call her Sherry, okay? So Sherry was an older woman, and she comes in, and when I'm talking about very uppity, I'm talking about like purse won't touch the floor, which I already feel type of way about people. If you got it like that, you don't care if your purse touches the floor, but neither here nor there. I digress. So she off rib, like she was just like, hello, I'm Sherry, thank you, like, and so like in Aveda, you had to ask if they wanted hot tea. Their nasty Aveda hot tea. That tea was so disgusting. I don't care what anybody says. And if you ever had Aveda tea and you like it, please seek help. Oh my God. But anyway, and like if you know what I'm talking about, people that went to Aveda or have been to an Aveda salon, y'all know the tea I'm talking about. So she's like, you haven't offered me my tea yet. She was just like giving that off rip, okay? So I go ahead and I take her back to the chair, and so I'm going through like literally it's like the checklist of Aveda on the consultation, like how we're supposed to do it. And so I'm like walking through everything, and I'm like, okay, so like what is your desired look today? What are we thinking? And we had to pull up pictures on our iPad to like confirm with the client like what the final result was gonna be. And so she was just like, I just want to blow dry with some curls. And that's another thing that like really pissed me off too, because the clients that go there regularly know the vibes. Like, you know, if you're getting a master's student, because you choose, like, it's up to the client as to if they want a master's student, which is like almost graduating, or if you want somebody in foundations. I was in the second phase, which is foundation. So like, you knew what you were getting. And so she knew that I had to go through like all these questions, especially because I'm in the like foundations phase, and she had been there multiple times. That's how I know she knew, okay? Before everybody's like, oh, how did you know that I knew, okay? So I had to go through like the whole steps with her and like showing her the picture and asking her like what her desired results were and da-da-da-da. And mind you, we're being watched while we're doing it, so it's not like I can just skip through it. I tried before. And so she was like, can we just, cut this short? This is how I want it. I want a hard set curl. That's what I want to do. Like, I do this all the time. I don't need to go through this. I don't need any products. I don't want any recommendations. Like, she's basically like trying to rush me through this whole process. And so I'm trying to be, a good student. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, like no problem. But let me just ask you a few questions. Is there any particular products? And she's just not giving me anything. Like, she's just like continuously telling me like, can we just hurry this up? Like, I've already done this. I don't want the products. I don't want your recommendations. I just want a hard set blow dry. That's it. Like, don't give me anything else. So this is the part that makes me so loud, because I was wrong. I was dead wrong for what I did to this woman. So whatever. Take her to the shampoo bowl. I'm washing her hair, and she had a lot of hair. Her hair was super, super thick, thicker than mine, okay? And she basically had the same hair texture as mine when it's straight. She didn't have curly hair, but it was very, very thick, coarse, straight hair, okay? So I'm just giving her a shampoo. I'm doing what I need to do, boom, bang, pow. And I bring her back to my chair. So like I said, everything in Aveda had to be a certain kind of way. So I am rough drying her hair so that I can go ahead and get it sectioned off. So I personally hate hard set blow dries, because I just don't, because especially there was one instructor that was like, you can get the same effect, like, because we weren't allowed to use curling irons. That was an extra charge. And it's like, she's like, if you're a good stylist, you don't need to use a curling iron. And it's just like, yeah, you do, because it's not the same thing. And no one's ever going to convince me that it's the same thing. Doing a curl with a blow dry is not the same thing as doing a curl with a curling iron or a wand. So, and that's what she wanted. Like, she wanted like a very voluminous, bouncy kind of blow dry, but whatever. She had too much. I don't know. I could achieve the look, but like not under the parameters that I was given. Okay. So I go ahead and I start doing the hard set. And if you don't know what a hard set is, it's basically when you're blow drying the hair with a specific like round brush. And then once you like set the curl, so like you have to go like this and then wrap the hair up in the brush, and then you hold it for it to cool, and then you take it out and then you kind of like wrap it around your fingers and then you pin it. And so that way, as you're going, the hair is essentially like all pinned up. That's exactly how I did it. That is exactly how I did it. And this took forever. Okay, I got her hair stuck in the brushes. I had pins stuck. It took me so long to do this freaking hard set curl on this woman's hair. And like, obviously, like I said, she wasn't like a nice person. So it wasn't an enjoyable experience. We weren't talking. It was very awkward. I was sweating. I was getting very anxious because every time something went wrong with the curl and I had to redo it, or when a curl fell out, it was like one of those situations, like a curl would come out, it wouldn't come out right, and it was just like a back and forth kind of thing. It was a very awkward, intense session with this woman. So I'm just struggling through it. Okay, boom, I'm finally done. I finished the last curl, and so I was like, okay, Sherry, I'm gonna give you like 2 minutes, let this last curl set in, and then I'm gonna go ahead and take it out. So I'm just like letting her sit there. I'm like putting my stuff away. I'm getting everything ready. I'm grabbing a little bit of hairspray, so that once we go ahead and take this out, like, we're good to go. So, right, I start taking these sets out. And like, if you guys know, if you don't have soft, fine, silky hair, hard sets are like a little complicated, because especially her hair texture was very coarse but straight. Like I said, it was like my hair right now. So it just molded to the curls. So like, I did it in sections, and you have to do brick sections. So like 2 curls right here, so the curl would be in the middle, you know, that kind of thing, that pattern throughout her head. And as I'm taking these curls out, they're just like molded to her. Like, they're not releasing, they're not doing anything. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's because I haven't like run my fingers through it yet. Like, so I'm just looking at it, but I'm still taking them out. So she has like all these little curls coming out, you know, like a roller set. I go ahead and I put a little bit of oil in my hands, and I go to like brush my fingers through her curls, so that way we can, you know, loosen them up a little bit and kind of get it into like a, you know, a look. Before I even did that, she was like, this looks, you know, a little harsh. Like, these curls kind of look different than what I usually get. And I'm just telling her like, yeah, once I, you know, put my finger through it and then I'm able to, you know, kind of like loosen them up a bit, they're gonna look a little bit different. I was lying so bad because I was so confused. I was looking at her hair just as bad as she was looking at her own hair. I was just like, what did I do? What did I just do to this woman? So whatever, I'm like trying to like run my fingers through it, and these curls, like, it was honestly, y'all, as if I like blow dry it. I don't even know how to explain it. It looked like like it was so bulky. She looked like she had a lace front on, but like it was her hair. Oh my God. So it was like, imagine the most bulkiest wig you've ever seen, but like her hair. So that's how it looked at the top. And then it had like a little like curl. So it was so bulky and big. And then like these little, it looked like this with little individual curls, right? So I'm trying, like, y'all don't even understand. I'm just running my fingers. I'm ripping my fingers through her hair, and I'm trying to, like, get it, like, you know, to flatten out. And I'm just running my fingers, and I'm, like, putting hairspray. And I'm literally taking her hair and going like this to just, like, flatten it down, because I literally don't know what I did. She did have a lot of hair, and it was just like, why did your hair dry this way? So I'm just trying to like push it down and like, you know, whatever. And she's just looking in the mirror. She's so serious. She's just like, and I'm like having a poker face on, but I'm having a panic attack. I'm just like trying to go through and trying to go through. Do y'all understand? Like, oh my God. So I like turned her. So I moved the chair like this, right? So that way, like, I can not have to worry about like her looking at my face and looking how like flustered I was. So I moved her over, and I'm just like, oh my God, what did I do to her hair? And I'm still trying to like put my fingers through it. I'm trying to hairspray it down. I'm trying to do all kinds of stuff to this woman's hair. I knew it looked bad. I did, okay? I knew it looked bad. And it was the end of the day, because that's when we were taking clients. Like, it was towards the end of the day. And I turn her and I'm like, all right, Sherry, here we are. And she looks me dead in the mirror. Like, she's looking at herself. Mind you, her hair is still like this with like little curls. She looks at me when I turn her, and I was like, so what are we thinking? Am I stupid? I'm so dumb. I should have just stayed quiet, because I'm over here like a dum-dum. Like, so what are we thinking? Like, duh, girl. Oh my God. She looks at me and she's just like, you made me look like a hot air balloon. I wanted to die, because she said that so straight face. She was like, you made me look like a hot air balloon. And I was like, oh, is it a little too much volume? Like, I'm trying to play this off like I have no idea what she's talking about. Like, I don't, like, what's going on? And I'm sitting here like, oh, is this a little too much volume? Is it like the curls? And she's just like not saying anything. And before you could like leave a client, you had to get an instructor to come like look at the results or whatever. And I'm just like panicking, because my instructors are gone. There was only one instructor, and she wasn't even mine. And so I like go up to her and I'm like, I'm gonna go get my instructor. I'll be right back. And so I told my instructor, I was like, yeah, the blow dry didn't come out like that good, and like I just don't know what I did wrong. And then the instructor was like, what is she here for? And I was like, a blow dry. And she was like, oh, well, like, who cares? She didn't care at all. So when we come back to the like client or whatever, she was like, hey Sherry, how was everything? And Sherry was like, I mean, look at it. It doesn't look good. And then the instructor was like, oh, what's going on? Like, is it too voluminous for you? Because I'm not joking. You could see her head from a mile away. A hot air balloon is exactly, like, that was the best description of what I did to her hair. And so she was like, I look like a hot air balloon. And the instructor's trying to play it off too. And she's like, okay, well, let me just go ahead and like tweak it a little bit. And so that way we can kind of like bring it down a little bit, because, you know, it maybe just be a little too voluminous. Y'all, as soon as the instructor grabbed the blow dryer, this is where I'm like, why did I do this? I just walked away. That was it. Like, I walked away and I went to the break room. And I don't know if it was because I was embarrassed. I don't know if it was I don't know why I did that, but I just walked away and I went to the break room and I don't know what happened to Sherry. That was it. Like, I think the instructor finished the blow dry, and then I don't know how she looked afterwards. I don't know what the instructor did to finish it. I just walked away and let her leave. And then, like, later on, because I had to go back to the station, like, I knew what I was doing. I purposely walked away, and I waited, like, 30 minutes before I went back to my, like, because I just didn't want to, like, I didn't want to come back in the middle of my instructor still fixing her hair. I didn't want to come back to Sherry, like, checking out. So I, like, stayed in the break room for a good 30 minutes. And then I had to go back out to go, like, clean up my stuff because we had to put our stuff up at the end of the day. And so when I go put up my stuff, the instructor was like, hey, why didn't you come back? And I was like, I mean, I just, you know, you said you were going to finish it, so I just finished it. She was like, yeah, but you're not supposed to just walk away from a client. Like, I was going to, like, help tweak it a little bit, but I wasn't supposed to just, like, finish your client and just walk away. That's not how you finish a service. And I was just like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. I told you, like, it was not good. Like, I told you it was, like, a bad blow dry. And the instructor was like, yeah, when you said that, I didn't think that I was going to come up to it being that bad. So now you see why I walked away. Like, you wanted me to sit here and just the both of us look at how bad of a job I did? No, I was gonna, what in the world? I was just gonna, you know, walk away. And I did. I definitely just left the client there. She said she looked like a hot air balloon. Who knows what she looked like at the end? I have no idea what they did to her hair. And I never saw her after that. Like, I don't know if that was the last straw. I don't know what happened with her, but for the remainder of the time that I was at Aveda, she definitely never came back. So yeah, I did her so dirty and I just did not care. So that was the first instance. All right, cool. I just chalk it up as to I was young and I was like in my early stages of being a cosmetologist. I'm just gonna say that was my excuse. I didn't know any better. This one, I don't even know what you want to call it. This one's gonna be a little bit shorter, but yeah. You live and you learn, you know what I mean? Like, what can you do? So so this one was actually here in Miami. I needed to stop trying, like, you know the saying, like, too much dip on your chip. Like, I bit off way more than I could chew. And I don't know why. I don't know. Whatever. So there was this client that came in and it was for, like I told y'all, I was a receptionist / apprentice at the salon in Miami. So basically I was just there if they needed me, and like I was just kind of doing everything. I was making appointments, I was cleaning, I was taking clients, stuff like that. So, oh, and I was shampooing and everything. So there was a day that one of the stylists was running kind of behind. And so she asked me, she was like, hey, I have this girl and her friend wants a blow dry. Do you mind doing the blow dry? And I was just like, okay, is it like simple? Like, what is she thinking? What does she want? And then it was the same girl that I always talk about. She was very like, whatever. She was like, I don't know, you figure it out. Ask her what she wants. And I'm just like, gee, thanks. So I had noticed that like the hairstylists at the salon in Miami were very known for doing the curls with the blow dry. But what they did was they left the brush in the client's hair. So basically they would blow dry it, do the curls, leave the brush, and they would just pull it out like with ease. They would just pull it out, right? So I get the girl and I was like, hey, I'm Samantha. I'm going to be taking care of you. Like, so what are we thinking? Da, da, da. And she's like, I absolutely love the way the other stylist does my curls. I like, you know, she does a really good like bombshell blowout. That's what I like. So I was like, okay, cool. You know, it's a blow dry. I could do it. It's cool. And at the time, I was getting very insecure because they were nitpicking every little thing that I did in the salon. Like, If I did a blow dry, it's like, why are your sections so small? I take bigger sections and they're like, why are your sectioning so big? It would be like everything, any little thing. I was being micromanaged all the time, and they were, I mean, like, I guess in a way I appreciated it, but at the same time, I'm just like, they were doing a lot. I was just trying so hard to do everything the way that I saw them doing, and taking everything that they told me and all the constructive criticism and everything that they said to me before. I was just trying to prove that I was coachable, that I was learning, and that I was doing what I needed to do. Wrong. Like, oh my God. So I'm like, okay, perfect. I'm thinking this is the most perfect opportunity to do what they told me and to take initiative and try the technique that they do. Okay. So I go ahead and I shampoo her, I wash her hair, I give her a massage, giving her that 5-star treatment. Boom, let's go back to the chair. So I have my brushes set up. I'm gonna do it. We're gonna go there. We are going to do the curl brush in hair technique, okay? So boom. All you do is you blow dry the hair, you know, you give that good round brush, good, and then you just curl it up and let the brush hang, okay? So I did the first one, cool. Did the second one. I had 8 brushes. So I'm just, you know, putting them up, cool. Going through, cool. This girl had quite a bit like of hair, so I was just, you know, going like that, boom, boom, boom. And so like once you use your brushes, you have to pull the brushes out and then, you know, cool. So I did that. You know, the first bottom section, I pulled the brush out. It was a nice spiral curl. It looks so good. It looks so pretty. Boom. I'm getting confident now because I'm like, I'm taking out the first bottom section. They're coming out perfect. So I'm going in and I'm just, you know, cool. And I'm talking to her. We're having a good time. She's talking to her friend. Everything is good. You know, it's a vibe at the salon. Everything is going amazing. I get to the last section. I'm cool. I put the last brush in her hair. I let them set. And I'm grabbing some product so I could spray the buttons on the bottom because I'm about to get ready to pull out the rest of the brushes. So, I pull the first one out. And it was giving me like a little bit of a struggle, but I got it out and it was cool. I go to pull the second one out. The brush gets stuck. So I'm like playing with it, you know, trying to like move it around, trying to do it, and it's just not working. Okay, so I just like, so she wasn't noticing at this point. So then I go to the third one, and this is like this section. So the first one was right here, the second one was right here, and the third one is back here. I go to I leave the second one, and I'm like, I'll just wait, you know, give it some time, whatever. I go to the third one, and the third one is stuck. Like, the second one, it kind of had a little bit of wiggle room. The third one, it was stuck. And I was just like, and she looks at me because when I try to get it out, like, you know, it's attached to her head. So when I try to move it out, she was just like, ooh. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, my bad. I didn't grab it right. And she was like, oh, okay, no worries. So she's still talking to her friend. She's doing her whole thing. And I'm like, you know what? Let me leave the third one. I go to do the fourth one. It's stuck. So at this point, I'm like freaking out because I'm like, I just got I have these 3 brushes that are stuck in her head. So then I go to the fourth one or I go to the 5th one, the one that's up here, and that one came out easily. So I was just like, okay, cool. So that's good to go. Like the front 2 are good to go. So I'm like, you know what? Let me go back to the second one. So I go back to the second one, and it's like not as bad, but it's giving me a lot of struggle. So much so to the point that she's noticing. And so I'm trying to like reel it out, and I'm trying to like do a bunch of things, and I'm just like, you know, trying to play it off. I'm like, you know, sometimes it gets a little stuck or whatever. She was very nice about it. She was very cool. And so I'm just like, okay, you know, whatever. I'm struggling with this second one, and she's like noticing, but she's like not really caring that much. But the stylist that was next to me, the one who the client was supposed to be with, she's like looking at me in the mirror, and she's just like, well, why don't you just like do a little like this? I'll help you. So I was like, okay. So she stops the client that she's with, and she goes ahead and she helps me get the second one undone. So I was like, okay, cool. So it's kind of embarrassing, but you know, we got the second one out. So I was like, all right, you know, I can manage to get the third one and the fourth one out. Those ones will be fine because, you know, I saw how she got the second one out. I go to the third one. And like I said, it was not moving. That one was stuck. There was no wiggle room. I don't know how it got tangled. I don't know what in the world happened, but it got stuck. And so I was like, hey, other stylist, do you think you can help me? Because it looks like the third one got stuck too. And she was like, hold on. So while I'm waiting for her, another stylist is walking by, and the other stylist was like, hey, other stylist, can you help Samantha get this unstuck? And she said it so loud. I was like, okay, girl, we could have been a little bit more discreet about it, but like, thanks for just letting everyone know that I got these brushes stuck in this woman's hair. So then he was like, oh yeah, it's no problem. And he's playing it off. He was like, oh, I do this all the time. Like, sometimes it just happens. You know, he's like, I don't think he's trying to vouch for me, but he's trying to make it like a lesser deal than what it was. And he was like, this happens all the time. Like, you know, it's not stuck. It's just that the brush kind of like sucks in the hair or whatever. So that's what he says to the client. She's like, okay. And so when he goes to like grab the brush from her hair, and he goes like, he pretty much like yanks it. I don't know why he felt the need to do this, but he pretty much yanks it. And she's like, ooh. And he was like, oh, you got this brush stuck in her hair. Like, this is not what I thought. And I'm just like, why are you guys saying it so loud? Like, I know. So he goes ahead and he's like trying to unravel the hair. And then he was like, Samantha, what did you do? And he's like holding her head like this and like trying to pull out her hair. And I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, it just usually just comes out really fast, like whatever. She's being really, really cool and really, really nice, which I thank her so much for that. But this brush is stuck. And so while he's doing the third brush, I go ahead and I try to get the fourth one up. And he was like, you got that one stuck too? And I'm just like, do you not know how to talk with your eyes? Like, okay, yes. Like, this girl was on her phone. She wasn't even looking in the mirror. She's just, you know, waiting for us to get these brushes unstuck. And you just have to go ahead and say that I got the fourth one stuck in her hair too. So she was like, oh, there's two of them that are stuck. And I'm just like, yeah. So I'm like struggling with the fourth one. So then the stylist, the original stylist, she's done. And so she comes up to us and she was like, oh, you guys still having trouble? And then we're like, yeah, you know, these two brushes are still stuck. So now there's three stylists with one client trying to get two brushes unstuck from her hair. So as you can imagine, I am so embarrassed. Like, I am just like, okay, cool, whatever. And then I was like trying so hard, and then the other stylist basically like moved me out the way. The one who's like, this was her original client, she basically moved me out the way. She's like, I'll try to get the fourth one done while he tries to get the third one. So I'm just standing there awkwardly, just on the side, waiting for these people to unstuck her hair that I got stuck in the first place, because it's just tangled in the brushes. And so as I'm doing that, the owner, of course she's there, she comes up to me, she's like, what's going on? And I was like, oh, I got the brushes stuck in her hair and they're helping me get it out. And she was like, wait, why did you get the brushes stuck in her hair? And I'm just like, I don't know. It just kind of happened. I was doing, the brush technique, and it just, those two brushes got stuck. And she was just like, well, why did you do the technique? Did you not know how to do the technique? Like, because so-and-so and so-and-so does it all the time, and they don't get people's hair stuck in the brush, like, especially not this. How long has this been going on? And I was like, oh, it's been like 5 minutes. And she was like, okay, well, this can't keep happening. And I'm just like, keep happening? Girl, this is the first time I ever even tried to do this. Granted, I should not have experimented on somebody else's client. I should have done it on a mannequin. But dang, like, wow, okay. So she's like telling me, she's like, okay, well, then go back and help them get the brushes unstuck. And I'm just like, okay, but they told me to, like, they'll get it done. And she's like, no, you need to go back there and you need to, like, help them. And I'm just like, what good does that do? They just, like, kind of shooed me away, and now you're telling me that I have to go back and, like, kind of help fix it, which I'm just, like, going back and forth. I'm conflicted because I'm embarrassed, and, like, what the hell am I supposed to do? So then I'm like, I go back and I was like, hey, like, how's everything going? And they're like, we're almost done. They got the third one out, but they were trying to get the fourth one out. And they're like, we're almost done. And so I'm just like, okay. And then the only thing that I could say, like, I just looked the client, like, in the mirror, and I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, so sorry. And she was like, it's okay. Like, it's okay. Things happen, She's like, and my hair is really thick, because she didn't have a lot of hair. And she's like, things happen. My hair's just really thick. Like, they're working on it. It's okay. Like, don't worry. And I was like, okay, like, cool. I just, I wanted to apologize and let you know, like, I'm very sorry. And so finally they got the fourth brush out of her hair. And then, I go ahead and, like, go to finish, because they got the brush unstuck, like, they got it loose. And I was thinking, like, okay, they got it loose, and I'm just going to go ahead and finish it up, like, put a little product in it, and, we'll be good to go. The initial stylist was like, no, I'll finish it from here. Like, don't touch her hair anymore. And I was just, like, in shock that she said that, especially, like, in front of the client, in front of the stylist. Like, it was in front of everybody. It was so embarrassing. She was like, no, I don't even touch her hair anymore. I'll finish it. So, like, I literally, I don't know if this was, like, a trauma response, but I was just like, okay. And I just left. I just walked away. I was like, okay. And I walked away, and I went to the bathroom, and then I kind of pulled the same thing that I did. Maybe it is a trauma response. Maybe I'm just, like, not good with stuff. Who cares? So I was waiting in the bathroom, and I was just sitting there, and I'm like, that is so embarrassing. That is so embarrassing. That is so embarrassing. And I was just, like, I was having a whole anxiety attack, and I was just sitting in the bathroom like, why? Like, why? So then I heard them finishing up. So I leave the bathroom and I go to the front desk, and I was like, thank you so much. Like, I'm so sorry about everything. She's like, don't even worry about it. So-and-so was able to get me right. She fixed it. She, like, basically changed the entire hairstyle, which, whatever. And she's like, she was able to fix it. Like, don't worry about it. It's good to go. Like, cool. So then I was like, okay, well, you have a great night. I checked her out. Everything was, cool between me and the client. It was like one of those scenes, like when you turn around and then the guy just, like, slaps you in the face. Like, that's how I felt. Like, I closed the door, and then, like, I turn around and I just got smacked, okay? So the client leaves, and then I turn to the stylist, and she was like, why would you walk away? And I was like, well, you kind of took over and you told me not to touch your hair. She was like, that was a teachable moment. You should have stayed there and watched how I did it and how I styled it. She was like, don't mess up somebody's hair and just walk away. And I was like, fair. That is fair. Like, and that's what I'm saying, y'all. Like, I don't know why I did that. Like, because in hindsight, like, duh. Like, why would I just walk away? And then, like, I know what she meant. Like, when she was like, just don't even touch her hair. Like, yeah, it was embarrassing, but, like, I shouldn't have walked away. That was just, like, bad on me. I just have a pattern of walking away. So... those were the 2 times where I was just dead wrong. I got 3 brushes stuck in this woman's hair and I wasn't even able to get it out. Other people had to get it out for me and I just walked away. And then the other one, I made her look like a hot air balloon and I walked away. I just, I'm a runner, okay? So I hope you guys enjoyed these 2 story times. It was just, it wasn't too serious. I'm kind of like over like serious story times and just like, something lighthearted for the, for the weekend, for the fun. Just, I don't know. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. Thank you guys so much for watching and just bearing with me as I navigate life, okay? Thank you. Appreciate you. Love you down. Thank you to all my members as well. Just wanted to give a special shout out to y'all because you guys are just so great and so supportive. So yes, thank you guys. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day and I will see you in my next video. Bye.